Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video from Radio 1.
Shujit, Ronnie and Vicky, nice to see you guys. How are you?
Very good, Rishi.
Ronnie, I'm going to start with you. I remember standing on your terrace, your balcony with you, indulging in some bad habits which cannot be named. And you had told me you're a history buff. The first thing I'd like you to talk from a historical perspective is the difference between General Dyer and O'Dwyer.
Yeah.
So that, it sets a context in terms of history for whom Sardar Udham Singh did what he did.
So, firstly, it's Brigadier General Reginald Dyer. He was British, but like a lot of the colonial people, he was born in a place called Madi, which is now in Pakistan. Well, it was in India. He studied in, I think, Kasauli, and then he joined the army. So he's the guy who was on the ground. Sir Michael O'Dwyer was Irish in heritage. He's the guy who was the Lieutenant Governor of Punjab, the province, and he was the one who ordered the Jallianwala Bagh. So if you know the hierarchies, how it works, General Dyer technically was the trigger, but the gun, the person who was holding the gun was Sir Michael O'Dwyer. Because on a hierarchy, he gave the order that this needs to be done. And as an army officer, he went and executed the orders. So that's the difference. A lot of people say that Sardar Udham Singh killed General Dyer. No, he didn't kill General Dyer. General Dyer died of heart attack in 1927. Stroke in 1927 in England.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why does Rising Sun need to hire a research team? In-house research team. Courtesy producer.
Yeah, I mean, he is less a producer and more of a creative, in the film process. A lot of it
Lovely.
comes from him.
Vicky, it's obvious that Amritsar is almost like a spiritual point for not only Sardar Udham Singh, but also for the film. I want to understand your relationship with the city, with Amritsar. Whenever you've been there, what have you felt, when you've gone to the Golden Temple, when you've just walked the streets of Amritsar?
Rishi, I belong to a Punjabi family. My ancestral home is just 2 hours drive from the Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar. Although for the beginning years of my life when I was in school, I never got to go to Amritsar because the route of that train journey would always be Bombay to Jalandhar and Jalandhar 1 hour drive to my place in Hoshiarpur. But then I still remember when we went to Jallianwala Bagh for the first time and we stayed there. Of course, by then the episode of Jallianwala Bagh was all through our history books. We had heard about the episode from my parents and my grandparents, so we were well versed with the episode, the trauma, the bloodshed, everything. To actually go there and to see those bullet marks, those holes in the walls, that well, even as a kid, it was a bit of a haunting experience, an experience which silences your inside, like your nerves, and it's an experience that you just can't let go of. It stays with you on a very subconscious level. It just stays with you. Whenever you talk about Jallianwala Bagh, it reminds you of some visuals that you got when you were right next to that wall over there. Whenever now I've been to Amritsar, it never goes without being at the Golden Temple, just going there, sitting there, hearing the ardas, meditating over there, just calming myself down. And there's something in that land. I always believe in the land of Punjab that there's just, I don't know, be it like all these freedom fighters, 100 years back, coming from that land and that region, there's so much love, there's so much forgiveness, there's so much angst, there's so much zeal. It's always there's a lot of potency over there in that sense, of emotions. With Amritsar, it's always been like that. Whenever you go there, there's a kind of hospitality that you always feel, that they just welcome you with open arms. They cushion you inside, inside that city, and it's always a special feeling being there.
Dada, what was the difference between Shahid Bhagat Singh and Shahid Udham Singh? Commonality was they were both revolutionaries. We know the little bit that maybe Udham Singh was a little hot-headed, the things he said in front of the courtroom, some of it is documented. But anything which was different between the two of them in terms of personalities. I know that Bhagat Singh perhaps is a smaller part of your film, but I'm just curious to know, because here is the largely documented figure Bhagat Singh and the slightly less documented figure, which is Udham Singh. The comparison between these two amazing freedom fighters.
There is a huge difference between Shahid Bhagat Singh and Shahid Udham Singh. Shahid Bhagat Singh, the leadership quality that he had, at that such young age, he braved everything, and he inspired with his speech, his thinking, his ideologies. He had read all the books in the library, possibly, in terms of the world books, the books on politics and people, everything. So in that sense, he was very well versed with the world politics and what's going on. And he was very strong, and like, for example, earlier the party's name was HRA, Hindustan Republic Association. Then he added that socialist, Hindustan Socialist Republic Association. So he came in touch with many, revolutionaries, and the many were inspired by him. So Udham Singh was another, a person who was inspired from Bhagat Singh. Yes, they were at the same time. Jallianwala may have triggered both of them. So that is there, that surely. Udham definitely got triggered from, that trigger was there. Udham was not too vocal in terms of rage that we know. No, it is not. I mean, he was a very, charming young boy. But yes, that incident possibly changed him. And so he used to call Shahid Bhagat Singh his guru, So they've met couple of times, possibly, and they interacted in the jail also when they were, so when they were in the prison. So he knew him so they were impressed. So Bhagat Singh's leadership quality, which Sardar Udham Singh was trying to, acquire and play it, and possibly the way he was rebuilding his team after the HSRA was completely wiped out, So I think he was becoming the next, possibly, Bhagat Singh.
Ronnie, because you and I both have a mutual passion for rock music, a few years ago a band from Delhi came to meet me called Scavengers.
Stefan.
Yeah. And they said they wanted radio airplay for one song. And the song was called Frank Brazil. Yes. And I remember sitting in my studio and having a conversation with this guy saying, boss, why is this song called Frank Brazil? And he said it's about Sardar Udham Singh.
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, if you're familiar with that song.
I know,
And
Stefan.
talk to me about this Frank Brazil factor for people who don't know what Frank Brazil is.
So firstly, it's really amazing, like Scavengers. Stefan, he is a Britisher. And he loves Sardar Udham Singh. And he loved the way his revolutionary ideas and everything. So he made this song about so many aliases of Sardar Udham Singh, and one of them was Frank Brazil. As per the legends go, this name he had acquired when he was in America, and he had used while he was working in the ships.
Shipyard, yeah.
So one of the cruise ships he was working in. So that's where this name Frank Brazil. So he had various names. He had Sher Singh as a name. He had Ure Singh as a name. He had Udham Singh as a name. So various names. So somewhere down the line, he created an amazing video of it. So like if somebody wants to understand about our legend,
I think that music
they should just see that music video and they'll see quite a bit of it, and they'll be more prepared to see our film.
Actually, see the film first and then see the
Whichever.
Vicky, let's talk about your co-actors. Banita Sandhu, I remember during October, I was trying to figure out her accent. I could understand maybe 3 sentences out of 5.
This is Welsh,
maybe
no?
with you also. It's the same thing. So, do you have scenes with Banita? Obviously, you do have with Amol Parashar.
Both.
So,
Amol
yeah,
and
so
Banita
just
both,
talk a little bit about Banita and Amol because they're not here. And,
I think those two are just, they have some incredible parts in the film.
And Banita has her original accent in the film?
That Sujita will confirm.
Just continue, sorry.
But I think, I have to say that I think Banita's part in the film is like poetry.
Wow.
It's sheer poetry in the film. And I really would want you to watch the film to experience what she's done. I think she's got one of the most expressive eyes I've ever seen on a human being. She's just so beautiful and so beautifully expressive. And she really, really is like a poetry in the film. She's like she's like the warmth you feel on a sunny day in the winter season.
Wow.
She's like that in the film.
Poetic.
She really is. She really is. And Amol is, I think, I have seen him on stage. We have hustled together in our early days. And he's one brilliant, brilliant actor. He flows like a river as an actor, I feel. And his part is, he's playing Bhagat Singh. How I don't have to even emphasize on how special that part is, And especially Sujita's take on an actor playing an actor's portrayal of Sardar Shahid Bhagat Singh has got a lot of novelty, I felt.
Wow.
In the take of Shahid Bhagat Singh in this
And
film.
he's a smart chap. He's a IIT chap,
Yeah.
Amol Parashar. So,
There's a meme that I read the other day, sir, that I am an engineer, Amol is an engineer, and the meme said कि हमें पता था कि engineering revolution लाएंगे.
not bad. Quite a few engineers. Tapsi is also an engineer. Engineers taking over the world. Let's talk about our mutual friend Shantanu Moitra. Your passion for football is as much as your passion for cinema. His passion for cycling now has suddenly become as much as his passion for cinema. I am very excited that this team has come back. It's not as though you haven't not worked with Shantanu. There are Anupam did a film with you.
Yeah.
But it's nice to be back in that zone. You and him such old friends. What is the brief for the BGM? Because you're talking about the Indian portions, the Punjabiyat of Udham Singh, and suddenly he's going abroad. So I'm sure there's the operatic feel and things like that. So what is your brief for the BGM and what can we expect?
My brief to the entire team actually was one. To him also, to cinematographer also, to this. You go inside Udham's mind. That's it. That's where everything got generated actually. Whether it's a cinematography or with a Shantanu. Shantanu just went inside and what he said, that cerebral thing, what he was going through. So just imagine you living with 21 years, not with rage, but just imagine with that pain, then you just think how the music can be. Music is out soon, to you to hear. I think you will get the idea. So we just wanted to keep it as meditative as possible.
Meditative. Wow. That's interesting. So, Vicky, Dada is such an interesting mix. Bong, who grew up in Delhi, half Punjabi and things like that. And you've worked with such a wide vista of personalities, from Anurag Kashyap to Raju Irani to him.
Yeah.
Talk to me. I wish he was not here. We could talk about him, but he's here, so we have to do it in front of him. And being Punjabi yourself, to be able to feel that bit of a flavor.
To be honest, I must confess.
Life must have been not short of excitement through this.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Every day on set, it was about discovering Sardar Udham and discovering Sujit Sarkar. Because he's so muted most of the times, and he expresses the things that are really matter. Even in his direction, even in the things that he is guiding you with, even in his philosophy about the character, everything. It's so to the point. There's no talk which is the noise around the main talk. It's just the main talk. So always, every time, and it used to be a mystery to gauge where he is. Is he happy with the shot? Is he not? And how is he seeing this character going? And because at the end of the day, it was complete. My process was to just completely surrender to him, you know, for Sardar Udham. So for me, it became very important to kind of gauge where he is coming from, what he's seeing for that part, and where he wants me to take it. But otherwise, I don't think I have met a person. What I actually loved about the process of being directed by Sujit Da was that it was all very fluid, but at the same time he knew what the fence of that playground was, what the parameters were कि इसके अंदर खेलना है, अब उसके अंदर कैसे खेलना है. He would give complete freedom not just to the actors but also to the technicians, to probably the background artists, to everybody in that playground, and we would try and create something together. But he would absolutely be very sure of the exact thing he wants eventually, and you know that becomes a very holistic process where you just feel like, you know, it becomes almost like going on stage in theatre days.
Like his Guru Ray. Beautiful. Any period piece is so dependent on art and production design. And I want you, Ronnie, and you, Sujit, together just give me a perspective of that, especially because when you're trying to recreate England of that era, you know, even in the trailer launch, I saw a picture of an old London taxi coming in. You know, so I find that whole period very, very fascinating. Yeah. So for art and production design, Ronnie, then Sujit.
Yeah, it was a big challenge. I mean, first thing was we wanted to be very particular about that we'll achieve something, because that was a dream, that we need to make a film which we have. The story is a very international subject. Worldwide, people can relate to something like a Jallianwala Bagh. So we wanted, and we didn't want to compromise on these small things without doing too much of detailing. So luckily, the two production designers that we had, Mansi and Dimitri, they were like very thorough. They went through a lot of books, and to the point where they would ask us these questions. Even it's not just production design, costumes, the makeup, not just Vicky's makeup. I'm talking about a background artist who's like probably out of focus.
Wow.
That level of detailing which our international crew was doing was, they asked us, okay, this scene, which year is it? I said, yeah, 1930 to 1934. And they asked us, no, tell us 1930 or 1931, because the way the girl will tie her hair would differ from 30 to 31. Now that is what was an eye-opener for us also, that the amount of detailing these Europeans do on their films, and which we learned from them, and you can see it on the thing. So in every department, everyone was that particular.
You want to add to that, art, production design?
No, more or less what he said is this. So a lot of archive images were our reference point. And of course, there are a lot of European films, and also a lot of American films were also our reference point. So I think with these, I think we were able to manage what we didn't go extravagant. Yeah, we didn't go like, okay, we need to see this visual effects because this is the period film. दिखा देते हैं लोगों को कितना लोग कर सकते हैं multiply पीछे, ऐसा नहीं किया हम लोगों ने. So we kept it as organic as possible. Nice. So I think that's what we wanted, and that's what we achieved. Yeah. So in that sense, yes.
Yeah, even the I think simplistic, and suddenly you're sucked into that world.
And also this, a lot of the credit goes to even Obhigda, you know, my colorist, you know. So what they, you know, you have to choose the frame. So what exactly lensing you do, and how much you want to focus on. How much is not required, unnecessary. So we didn't do that. So that's what it was. It was quite measured.
Vicky, one of the most beautiful things to me whenever I've come across something on Udham Singh is the secularity of it. I believe, like he said, there's so many names. One of his names was a combination of Sikh, Hindu, Muslim. You know, it's so beautiful and it's so needed in this day and age. So here is that one aspect. There was obviously some kind of flamboyance because he was an actor in playing small parts, things you have to do to survive in England. And then the angst, the pain, it's not like an actor going and building six-pack abs, no?
Correct.
Jallianwala Bagh happens in 1919, he kills somebody in 1940, for 2 decades.
Correct.
He's living with that pain. suddenly goes into flamboyance, coming back. So to internalize it for such a long time, I don't know, are there any techniques, you know, is there any way you can hook it, do it? I don't know. You know, I'd like you to share that.
I think for me as an actor, my anchor and my steering wheel was the script and my director. To kind of gauge that.
No, like all this literature, you were telling somebody that, you know, he gave you some stuff to read.
No, there was always literature around before we started filming it. While we were filming it, there was always literature around us to kind of fall back to. Okay, this he was doing at this point of time in this country with this identity. Okay, so this is. It was almost like, you know, we would make like pointers. Okay, this is the time frame from 1919 to 1940 where these are the things that are documented. So according to this. This is the kind of human being he might have been, you know. And also, Sujita keeps telling, this is also, like you correctly mentioned about the secularity and all of that, it is not a biopic of just a person based on his actions. It is about his ideologies, what he wanted to say, the kind of India he visioned, their values, their principle, and of course the pain that he was carrying. And how a person can carry that much pain for this long a time, across circumstances. So to live all of that holistically, completely, internally, it was always about finding that truth. It was always about whatever it is, even if it is picking up that cup or doing something monumental in the film, it was always about finding that truth as Sardar Udham. And like he earlier said, the only brief was just try and get into the mind of that person. And that was our quest through the filming.
My last question is about that first film, Yahan. It's boring to say, oh, you came here to make Udham Singh. Everybody knows that now. You have said it. Here's my question. Would you have been able to make such a good Udham Singh, Ronnie and Shoojit, 21, 22 years ago? Because look at the kind of expertise and wisdom the two of you have gathered. You as a director, you as a producer. You know, like they say, some things are meant to happen at the right time.
Right.
What do you feel? If you had made that Udham Singh, then it would have been a very different film. Would you agree?
Yes, surely. I mean, it would have been a different film. I wouldn't have been, in terms of my craft, I wouldn't have been, you know, as finished as this one. Which I'm not saying that this is a perfect one. There's a lot many mistakes, which I can see it now also. But that's okay. But I wouldn't have lost my sanity, even if I made the film in 2005, when Yahan was there. I mean, it may not be technically that's perfect, but I wouldn't have lost my sanity at all.
Yeah, I mean, technically, definitely, I mean, 20 years it took us, so we've also evolved as human. Technically also we've evolved. So definitely, I feel this is the right time that we could do this. I mean, we could have done it, would have been a different take, or technically it would have been a little different. But I think this is the right time. When it happens, it's the right time.
Lovely. All you three guys, I was here when your first film happened. I hope I'm here when your 100th film happens. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss out on more content.